Yes, see this. Today we are going to discuss about holding company accounts. So, in holding company account, there are several concepts we need to see before solving the problem. And there is accounting standard 21 which specifies certain rules which we must follow before doing holding company's balance sheet. That also we need to see. So first of all, what do you mean by holding company? That we need to understand what do you mean by holding company. Then what do you mean by subsidiary company? That is also very important. So holding company means, in short, you can say the company which is holding more than 50% or more than 51% of the share capital of another company, that company is known as holding company. Or else you can say that holding company is a company which controls composition of the board of directors. So what do you mean by controlling the composition of board of director? It is nothing but, if a board of director, let us assume there are two companies A and B. So in a B company, so number of board of directors are 7. Number of board of directors are 7 in a company B. Now A Limited want to acquire B company. In that case, A Limited should have at least minimum of 4 directors in that 7 director from their company. In that case, what happens? A company is treated as holding company and B company is treated as subsidiary company. So similarly, we are talking about share capital. So let us take the example of share capital. Again, there are two companies A and B. So let us say share capital of B company is 6 lakh. Share capital of B company is 6 lakh. Now, if A company acquires more than 3 lakh, that is 3 lakh 10,000, if A company acquires from B company, in that case what happens? A company is treated as holding company and B company is treated as subsidiary company. So, in short, you can say the controlling company is holding company, or parent company is known as holding company, and the company which is controlled by the other company is known as subsidiary company. So now let us see this holding company account. First, a holding company is a company which controls one or more other companies by a means of acquiring controlling power over the other company. So here they said controlling power. So that is also very important. Controlling power means, I told right, composition of board of director or 51% of share capital in another company. If any one of which is satisfied, in that case there is the existence of holding company. So now next you see the controlling company is called holding company or parent company, and controlled company is called subsidiary company. Together they are known as group of companies. So whenever we are preparing the balance sheet, we want consolidated balance sheet. Consolidated balance sheet means what? We want to merge two companies' balance sheet and we want to do one new revised balance sheet. So that is the meaning of consolidated balance sheet. Then there is an accounting standard. So what do you mean by accounting standard? Accounting standard means there are certain set of rules and regulations prescribed by accounting standard board. So there are IFRS, International Financial Reporting Standard, and accounting standard is there for India. Then Indian accounting standard is there. So if you see under Indian accounting standard 21 is specifically for holding company accounts. So under accounting standard 21, there are several rules they have mentioned. So that we need to see. So first, see this, and one more thing is about Companies Act of 2013. So this entire thing governed by the Companies Act of 2013. So as per the Companies Act of 2013, holding company in relation to one or more other companies means company of which companies are subsidiary company. So what do you mean by this? So this is the meaning of holding company as per Companies Act of 2013. They are saying one company can be treated as holding company only when it has some relationship in other company. So that is the meaning of this one. So now second one, if you see, as per section 2 clause 87, subsidiary company or subsidiary in relation to any other company means a company in which holding company. See, now they have specified these two conditions. This is very, very important. Control the composition of board of director, first one. Second one, exercises or controls more than one half of the total share capital either at its own or together with one or more of its subsidiary company. So if any one of it is satisfied, in that case what happens? It is treated as a holding company. So this is the meaning of holding company account. So now after knowing the meaning, see this, there is consolidation of financial statement, involves preparation of profit and loss and balance sheet. But as per our syllabus, what happens? Only consolidation of balance sheet is required and consolidation of profit and loss account is not there, because we are preparing all the working notes, and with the help of working note we are directly preparing consolidated balance sheet. So we need to see only the rules for consolidated balance sheet. So consolidated is nothing but combined balance sheet, you can say. Combined balance sheet of A and B company is known as consolidated balance sheet. So now let us see one by one. We need to see what and all things are involved in holding company account. Steps for consolidation of balance sheet. Before knowing the steps, one more thing. From this chapter, 24 marks question comes. Regularly, 24 marks question comes, and sometimes 12 marks question also asked. But more often it is for 24 marks. So it is very lengthy problem. So we need to understand every step. Yes. So first one, calculation of pre-acquisition and post-acquisition reserve. So first of all, we should know what is reserve. So reserve is something which is kept for some purpose, isn't it? Some money is kept for some purpose. So now reserve, in that pre and post is there. What do you mean by pre-acquisition and what do you mean by post-acquisition? So before knowing this, we want acquisition date. Acquisition date means, in the question they will give you when a holding company acquires the shares of the subsidiary company. So it may be at the beginning of the financial year 1/4/2011, or else it may be in the middle of financial year 1/9/2011 or 1/9/2020, like that. So on the date of acquisition, if any reserves are mentioned in the balance sheet, such reserves are known as pre-acquisition reserve. Why it is pre-acquisition reserve? Because it is already there at the time of acquiring the shares by the holding company from the subsidiary company. So that is why it is known as pre-acquisition reserve. So in short, you can say pre-acquisition reserve is something which is already there in the balance sheet. So now next one is post-acquisition reserve. So what do you mean by post-acquisition reserve? It is a reserve created after the acquisition of share. So suppose the acquisition of share taken place during the month of September. So you can now divide how many month pre and how many month post if you know the financial year. So April, May, June, July, August. So 5 months it is pre-acquisition reserve, and remaining months September, October, November, December, January, February, March, it is post-acquisition reserve. Like this we have to bifurcate between the total reserve. We need to divide the total reserve. So that is about pre-acquisition and post-acquisition reserve. This is our first step. Yes. So, and one more thing, whenever we are calculating the working note, we want to only subsidiary company information. So if you see the problem, whatever the problem asks for examination, they will give you both, that is holding company account as well as subsidiary company account. Combined balance sheet they will give A and B or H and S limited. We want to see only subsidiary company column for working note purpose. Under subsidiary company column, what is their reserve? That is very important. What is their profit and loss account? That is also very important. So, like that we need to see. We should ignore all the details of a holding company. So, that is the meaning of this one. See this. So, after this, see this here, total reserves of the company should only be bifurcated in case the date of acquisition of share is not available. This last sentence is very important. If date of acquisition is not given, then all the reserves of subsidiary company is treated as a pre-acquisition reserve. Yes, if date is mentioned, then you can easily divide what is pre and what is post. Yes. So that is about first step. Now second one, calculation of pre-acquisition and post-acquisition profit. So why we are doing this? So that is also very important. Why we are solving this? Like why we want pre-acquisition, why we want post-acquisition reserve, why we want post-acquisition profit? Because as soon as the company acquires the shares of the another company, what and all details are there in that company will automatically becomes the details of the company which has acquired the shares. That means suppose let us take the example now. A company building is 10 lakh. In A company, building value is 10 lakh. In B company, building value is 5 lakh. Okay. So now A company acquires more than 51% of the shares in the B company means now what is the total value of the building of A company? That you need to tell me. So what is the total value of building of A company? That is 10 lakh plus 5 lakh of another company. Yes, automatically they get right in all the assets and all the liabilities of the concern. That is why consolidation of financial statement is done. So now if you see pre-acquisition and post-acquisition profit, first we need to discuss about pre-acquisition profit. It is any profit appearing in the books of subsidiary company before the acquisition of shares by the holding company. So now it is very clear. If before the acquisition, if there is any profit, it is treated as pre-acquisition. After the acquisition, if there is any profit, then it is treated as post-acquisition profit. If there is no information is given, everything is treated as current year profit or present year profit. So that is about second one. This is our second step. And one more thing that is not mentioned, that is first is acquisition date you need to see. While solving the problem, acquisition date, first thing you need to see. If date is not given, then we can assume that everything is free. Then the next thing we want is majority minority ratio. Majority minority ratio. So what do you mean by majority? What do you mean by minority? That we need to see now. So first of all, we want, what do you mean by minority? Minority interest means what? So minority interest is equal to, so suppose A company holds 75% of shares in B company. In that case, A company is a majority company. A company is a majority company. Why? Because more than 51% of the share capital it has of other company. That is why A company is a majority company. Then what about the remaining 25%? What about remaining 25%? This 25% belongs to outsider. Outsider means anyone can take. So outsider's interest or third party's interest is known as a minority interest. So here 25% in this example, 25% is a minority interest. So interest means what? Can you tell me here? What do you mean by interest? Yes. Can you tell me now? What do you mean by interest here? What is the right appropriate word for interest here? Can you tell me? Yes. What is a word for interest? Minority interest means what? Interest is nothing but it is a claims. Claims. Interest is equal to claims. Claims of whom? Claims of outsider or claims of third party. So now it is very clear, majority and minority. Now why we want majority minority ratio? Because all the calculation of minority interest and all the calculation of majority interest requires the respective shares. So that is why this ratio is very important. So suppose 75% is invested in B Limited, means majority is 75, minority is 25. Or else they may give you in terms of share capital. So let us take the example, subsidiary company's share capital, that is 2 lakh. Subsidiary company's share capital is 2 lakh and paid up value is 10. So what is the number of share? Can you tell me now? What is the number of share? Subsidiary company share capital 2 lakh, paid up value is 10. What is the number of share? Yes, answer. What is the number of share? Yes, this is very simple. Can you tell me the answer? Can you comment in the chat box? What is the number of shares of subsidiary company? 2 lakh is the share capital, paid up value is 10. What is the number of share? Yes, anyone? Akamsha, Amrita, Ankita, Anusha, Ashish, Narasimha, Nishant, Omkar, Pooja, Pratish, Rajat, Shifali, Vivek. Yes, tell me. See how to find out number of shares. How to find out number of share? See, in order to find out number of shares, from share capital we need to divide paid up value. So 2 lakh divided by 10. 2 lakh divided by 10, if we do, we'll get what? Number of shares. So 20,000 is our shares. 20,000 is our number of shares which is there in subsidiary company. So now what holding company does? Holding company invests 12,000 shares in a subsidiary company. So by seeing these two information, can you tell me what is a minority share? What is a minority share? Can you tell me? Very easy. Out of 20,000, 12,000 is invested by holding company. So of course it is more than 50%. So that is why it is a majority. So what is a minority? Can you tell me now? How many shares are of minority? Yes, answer. This is very simple. Just tell me, out of 20,000, 12 is majority, means what is minority? You can comment in the chat box. Number of minority shares. 20 minus 12 how much? 20 minus 12 how much? 8. So here 20,000 minus 12,000 if you do, remaining shares are of minority. So now we can easily find out majority minority ratio. How? 12,000 is to 8,000. 12,000 is to 8,000. Now we need to simplify, then we can easily find out what is our majority minority ratio. And after finding majority minority ratio, we can easily solve the problem. Yes. So now if you see here, that is about second point. So now third one if you see, that is calculation of minority interest. Before calculating the minority interest or third party's interest or outsiders interest, we need to calculate majority minority ratio. See now, a holding company may not hold 100% shares of the subsidiary company. This is true. Why? Because they can hold more than half but not everything. If a subsidiary company, the subsidiary company may not be wholly owned by the holding company. If let us take the example, there is 20,000 share in the subsidiary company and holding company acquires or holds all the 20,000 shares, in that case it becomes wholly owned subsidiary company. Wholly owned subsidiary company means entire 100% of the shares are acquired by holding company. In all other cases, it becomes partly owned subsidiary company. Wholly owned subsidiary company and partly owned subsidiary company. So, from our syllabus point of view, all the questions are related to partly owned subsidiary company. So, we need to concern only about that. Yes. So now when some of the shares of subsidiary companies are held by the outsider, their interest is known as minority interest, and the shares of the outsider is calculated and shown on the liability side of the consolidated balance sheet. So why we want, or why we need to show minority interest in the liability side of the balance sheet or liability side of the consolidated balance sheet? Why? Because we cannot adjust. That means holding company is not interested in outsiders claim. They are interested in their claims only. That is why whatever the claims of the outsiders remain as it is, so it will continue to appear in the liability side of the balance sheet. So how you write in the liability side creditor, then other loans and all. So similarly, this also appears. Total minority interest you need to show in the liability side because it is outsiders claim and holding company is not concerned about that. Then next thing, the interest of minority shareholders in the net assets of the subsidiary company is registered as a minority interest and it is shown on the liability side. So now, what do you mean by net asset? You know, net asset means it is asset minus liability is net asset. So here claims means what? Claims means in the subsidiary company's assets. Assets includes the land and building, everything is there, right? Machinery, then bank, stock, debtor, etc. So among that total, what and all claims belong to third party? Third party. That means when company acquires 55% of the share. Let us take the example. When company acquires 55% of the share, from this land and building, 55% belongs to holding company. From this plant and machinery, 55% belongs to holding company. Debtor, 55% holding company. And stock, 55% holding company. So like that. So if 55% belongs to holding company means remaining belongs to outsider or the third party, that is 45%. So that is why minority interest calculation is needed. So there is a format of calculating minority interest. See this, their share in the share capital. So here their share means what? Their share means outsiders share. There means what? Outsiders share or third parties share in share capital. So share capital of which company? Share capital of subsidiary company. I have already told when solving the working note we are concerned about only subsidiary company. So here share capital means share capital of subsidiary company. Their share in a total reserve. So again, third party share in total reserve of whom? Total reserve of a subsidiary company only, and we are not concerned about holding company. Their share in total profit. So again, we need to consider only total profit of subsidiary company and other things we need to ignore. So if you do like this, you will get the total minority interest. So total minority interest you need to show in the liability side of the balance sheet. So there is some notes they have given, that is first one, proportionate share in the losses and decrease in the value of net assets of the subsidiary company should be deducted. That means what? This is one kind of profit. If you see share capital, total reserve, total profit means it is one kind of profit. So if there is any losses, if there is a pre-acquisition loss, in that case you need to deduct the proportionate share. Proportionate share means what? Proportionate share means first we need to calculate majority minority ratio, isn't it? Then we get a ratio. See this, For example, if we got the ratio like 2 is to 1, that means here what is a minority share? Can you tell me? If ratio is 2 is to 1, can you tell me in fraction? Can you tell me in fraction what is minority share? Yes, very simple. Tell me, if ratio is a 2 is to 1, you need to convert this into fraction. What is minority share? Can you answer? What is minority share? 2 is to 1 means here we want minority share. Yes, tell me. See, very simple. 2 is to 1 means here minority share is 1 by 3. 1 by 3. So there are total unit is 3, right? So among 3 units, 2 is obtained by holding company. That is why 2 is written first. 2 is obtained by holding company. So the name itself is majority minority ratio. So majority is 2, minority is 1. So ratio is 2 is to 1. So what is the majority share? 2 by 3. Majority share is 2 by 3. Minority share is 1 by 3. So now it is very clear. After getting the shares, then we can easily calculate this one. Calculation of minority interest. So if there is any losses, we need to deduct from this. And net asset, decrease in the value of net asset means what? So suppose there is a land and building 1,20,000 in the balance sheet. Then now they say that land and building is decreased to 1 lakh. So now what happens? It becomes a revalued figure. So there is a loss, isn't it? Depreciation in the building. Depreciation in the building is 20,000. 1,20,000 minus 1 lakh is 20,000. So this 20,000 you need to proportionately share in minority interest. That is, you need to deduct from minority interest as per their share. So that is about this one. Then there is one more thing, there is preference shares. If in the question preference share is given and they have specifically stated that preference shares are held by outsider, their share in those shares, that means their share means what? Outsider shares in preference share with the dividend thereon should be added to minority interest. That means to this answer you need to add preference share capital and dividend if it is held by outsider. So this is about the calculation of minority interest. That is point number 3. So now we have discussed 3 points. Have you understood these 3 points? Pre-acquisition, then pre-acquisition reserve, post-acquisition reserve, pre-acquisition profit, post-acquisition profit, and minority interest. If you have any doubt, you can ask me now about this. Yes, tell me. Have you understood this? What do you mean by holding company? What do you mean by subsidiary company? What do you mean by accounting standard? What do you mean by consolidated statement? Yes, tell me now. If there is any doubt, you can ask me now. आकांक्षा, अमृता, अंकिता, अनुषा, आशीष, नरसिम्हा, निशांत, ओमकार, पूजा, प्रतीश, रजत, शिफाली. Yes, tell me. Shifali is saying no. So, what about others? Why you are not responding? Ashish is saying no. Rajat is saying no. See, as of now we discussed 3 points. 3 points. Now let us move on. Now point number 4. Point number 4, that is calculation of majority interest. So you know now majority means more than 50%. So majority interest is equal to holding company interest. So now it is very clear. Majority interest is equal to holding company interest. Minority interest is equal to outsiders interest. So now after knowing this, we can easily look at these working notes. See this. Majority interest means holding company share in the net asset of subsidiary company. So again, we are concerned about only subsidiary company. So in problem, sometimes they don't state which is a holding company and which is a subsidiary company. In that case, how to find out? So in that case, you need to see the word acquisition. In that case, you need to see the word acquisition, or else you need to see the word investment. And or if nothing is given, then you can, first thing you have to do is to find out share capital of subsidiary company that will be given in the balance sheet. So you know the share capital, you know the paid up value, just find out number of shares. How many shares are there in subsidiary company? Once you get that answer, after that you can easily compare this with the investment made by holding company. That will be given in the question. Then you can easily find out which is holding and which is subsidiary company. So if 30,000 share is there, 18,000 is invested, means first that invested company is holding company. Why? Because more than 15,000. Another company automatically becomes subsidiary company. So now you see calculation of majority interest. Now this is a format for majority interest. First one, their share in share capital. Their share means here holding company's share. In the previous working note, their share means what? Outsiders share. Here their share means holding company's share in share capital. Again, share capital of which company? Share capital of a subsidiary company. So once we got their share in share capital, this is to be set off against investment. So once we set off against investment, then we can easily get what is capital reserve or what is goodwill, that we can easily get. So that is why calculation of majority interest, first one, their share in the share capital. Now second one, their share in pre-acquisition reserve. So what do you mean by, again, their share means holding company's share. Why? Because we are calculating majority interest. Majority interest means more than 50% of the share capital is acquired by the holding company, and in the composition of board of director also more than 50% of the directors are from holding company in the management of the subsidiary company. So that is why here pre-acquisition reserve means reserve which is acquired before the acquisition of the shares by the holding company from the subsidiary company. So that is why it is known as pre-acquisition reserve. So this pre-acquisition reserve is treated as capital reserve. So what do you mean by capital reserve? So that is one more thing. So now capital reserve can you use for dividend purpose? So that is one more question. Can you use capital reserve for dividend purpose? That is not possible. Why? Because capital reserve is for long term purpose. Long term purpose, whereas revenue reserve is for short term purpose. So before acquisition we don't know. So that reserve may be of several years. That is why it is treated as capital reserve. So but after acquisition we know the financial year, isn't it? So it is from April to March. So if the balance sheet is given on 31st March 2019, in that case we know our financial year starts from 1/4/2018 and ends on 31/3/2019. So in that case we can easily find out what is our revenue reserve. Revenue reserve is a reserve after the acquisition. So second point is their share in pre-acquisition reserve. Now third one we need to find out their share in a post-acquisition reserve. That is after the acquisition of the share. Suppose acquisition of the share here taken place that is in the month of September. In that case, pre is from April to August pre. Then from September 1 to March, it is post acquisition reserve. Again, reserve means reserves of subsidiary company. Yes. So that is treated as revenue reserve. In short, you can remember like this. Wherever there is a word pre, you have to consider it that as capital reserve or capital word comes. Whenever there is a word pre, capital reserve, capital profit. Whenever there is a word post, revenue reserve, revenue profit. So now you see, fourth one, their share in pre-acquisition profit. Again, pre-acquisition profit means subsidiary company's profit. So that is why it is treated as a capital profit. So what about capital loss? What about capital loss? So capital loss, if there is any, is treated as goodwill. Okay, so if it is treated as goodwill. So when and all capital loss happens, so that also we need to see. So suppose the paid up value of the subsidiary company is 1,50,000. Paid up value of subsidiary company is 1,50,000, but the holding company is paying 1,80,000. Paid up value 1,50,000, that is total value 1,50,000. Holding company is paying 1,80,000. In that case, it is a loss, isn't it? Why? It is a loss to the holding company. Why? Company is paying more amount in order to get the shares of the subsidiary company. That is why we can easily find out the difference. That is 1,80,000 minus 1,50,000. This 30,000 amount is treated as capital loss. Whenever there is a capital loss, it should be treated as goodwill. And if there is a capital profit, then you know it is treated as capital reserve. And as per the accounting standard 21, you cannot show both. That means if you show capital reserve in the liability side, you cannot show goodwill in the asset side. And if you show goodwill in the asset side, you cannot show capital reserve in the liability side. That is why you need to set off capital reserve and goodwill. When you set off capital reserve and goodwill, you will get either net capital reserve or net goodwill, isn't it? So why set off is needed? Because only one item you can show. So set off means, suppose our capital reserve is 1,50,000. Capital reserve is 1,50,000, and you know that comes in the liability side. So you can treat this 1,50,000 as a negative balance. Okay, so 1,50,000 negative. So now next, there is a goodwill. Goodwill is 1,20,000. So if you set off both 1,50,000 and 1,20,000, what is the answer? And whether it is capital reserve or goodwill, can you tell me? This is very simple. Can you tell me now? 1,50,000 capital reserve, 1,20,000 goodwill. So now you tell me what is the final answer after set off? Yes. Can you tell me now? What is the answer? See, here negative balance is more. Here negative balance is more means your liability is more. Your capital reserve is more. 1,50,000 is more than 1,20,000, isn't it? That is why what happens? Here answer will be net capital reserve. Your answer is net capital reserve, that is negative 30,000. So this negative 30,000 you need to show in the liability side of the balance sheet. That is about their share in pre-acquisition profit. Now next, their share in post-acquisition profit. So post-acquisition profit means again profit of the subsidiary company, and that is treated as revenue profit. Revenue profit means for a shorter duration, usually for 1 year. Shorter duration means usually for 1 year, and capital profit means it is usually for more than 1 year. So here after doing all these things, 5 things, you can find out what is the majority interest. And in this, and one more thing, capital reserve and capital profit, you will add to this one, all pre-acquisition reserve and pre-acquisition profit, you will add to capital reserve. And what about this revenue reserve and revenue profit? See, this post acquisition reserve you need to show in balance sheet. Liability side balance sheet you need to show this post acquisition reserve, and post acquisition profit also you need to show in the liability side of the balance sheet. Why? Because balance sheet consists of reserves of the holding company as well as reserves of the subsidiary company. So, for example, reserves of the holding company is 40,000 and reserves of the subsidiary company is 60,000. And now you have calculated their majority interest reserve, that is post acquisition reserve. In that case, their reserve comes around 15,000. In that case, what you need to do in the balance sheet, reserve holding company full amount 40,000 plus subsidiary company only majority post acquisition reserve, that is 15,000 only. You should not write 60,000. You have to write 15,000 majority share only. Why we are going to write only majority share? So this is simple. Why? Because after the acquisition, some portion of the assets comes to the holding company, isn't it? So if 60% is acquired, 60% of the asset comes to the holding company. That is why we need to take a majority ratio or majority interest. So this is about calculation of majority interest, point number 4. Yes. So after this there is calculation of cost of control, isn't it? So till now have you understood this one? Majority interest and minority interest. Have you understood this one? Then there is a cost of control. So now let us see cost of control. See this. The holding company may acquire the shares of subsidiary company at a price more than the paid up value or less than the paid up value. It is possible. If it is acquired the share more than the paid up value, then what happens? Then what happens? More than the paid up value. Excess amount is treated as a loss, then you should write it as goodwill. So this example we have already discussed. So once again we'll discuss that 2 lakh is a paid up value of subsidiary company share. Now holding company is paying the amount 2,25,000. In that case 25,000 is excess amount paid by the holding company. So this excess amount is treated as capital loss. So this capital loss you should consider as goodwill. So this is the treatment of first case. But now there is one more second case. If paid up value is 2 lakh and company is paying 1,75,000, in that case this is a profit to the holding company, isn't it? When there is a profit to the holding company, why it is a profit to the holding company? Holding company is paying lesser amount. Holding company is paying lesser amount. That is why it is profit to the holding company. Whenever there is such a profit, it is treated as capital profit. So capital profit is equal to capital reserve. So then in that case it comes as in the liability side. See this. So now if the holding company purchases the subsidiary company at a price higher than the paid up value, the excess amount paid represents a capital loss. It is the amount paid by the holding company for acquiring the control power over subsidiary company. Hence, it is called cost of control. As it is a capital loss, it is to be treated as goodwill. So that is what we have discussed. So now after this, if you see, there is a second case in that point only. Cost of control is equal to goodwill. Whereas when the shares of subsidiary company is acquired at a price lesser than the paid up value, there is a profit to the holding company. Such a profit is known as capital profit and it is to be treated as capital reserve in the liability side of the balance sheet. So this is about point number 5, calculation of cost of control. So till now we have discussed 5 points. So any doubt regarding